What's up, guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving the 2025 Subaru Outback Premium. Up front is a 2.5-liter flat 4, and down below is a CVT. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Outback Premium for two reasons. First of all, this is probably the last time that I'll drive this body style of Outback. They are overdue for an update, which should be coming in the next year or so. And I like this body style. I'm excited to share it with you for one last time. But the second reason is the fact that this is a premium, which is the volume seller for Subaru. So this is more likely than not what you would end up picking up. It's the best bang for your buck, and I'm excited to share that with you. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And huge thank you to Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg for letting me borrow the vehicle here in this video. You can check out their inventory in the description below. I do want to mention that this is a premium with option package 13. So there's option package 11, 13, and 15. 13 is going to be the middle. Again, that's why this is a more volume seller, because it gets things like the PIN, keyless start, things like that. Option package 11, you have to actually turn the key. Ew, gross. So here are those option packages in case you're curious. Again, this is 13, not 15 or 11. But let's get back to that 2.5-liter flat 4. Well, it's a flat engine. It's a boxer engine that Subaru uses in all of their internal combustion vehicles. So nothing crazy there. However, there is an option to go up to a 2.4-liter turbocharged flat 4. And that makes a lot more horsepower on the XT and upper trim levels. Now, what's interesting about that is that the Forester does not get the turbo option. So if you do want a wagon style, hatchback style vehicle with a turbo engine, you're gonna have to come here to the Outback as opposed to the Forester, at least for the 2025 model year. Like I said, paired to it is a CVT. Now, I don't love CVTs. However, Subaru has been doing it longer than most, actually going back to the 80s with the Subaru Justy. So they have it pretty down pat at this point, as long as you do the regular CVT maintenance. Last but not least, of course, again, it is a Subaru, so it gets the symmetrical all-wheel drive system. How does it feel to drive the Outback? Well, I've always liked the Outback and how it drives. It sits up higher than the Legacy. That's kind of the distinguishing quality, and the fact that we don't get the Legacy wagon anymore. So it is a little bit longer, a little bit higher, but I like that. It also doesn't feel like it's jacked up to the moon or that you're driving a lifted F350, but it gives you some extra ground clearance for your adventurous lifestyle. Visibility is good, steering is good, throttle response has been fine. However, if you're not happy with it, again, you can go up to that turbocharged engine. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have two physical gauges and a screen. Off to the left is my tachometer and coolant temperature, and off to the right is my speedometer and fuel, with a gauge in the center that you can customize around a little bit. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our skip track, source information, phone options, mute, voice commands, and volume, and off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise control. This does come with Subaru's EyeSight system, which is very good. They've been using it for quite some time, and it just keeps getting better. And we do have paddle shifters around the back for that CVT. Off to the left, we have a climate control vent, power tailgate, which is available here on the Premium, gauge dimmer switch, and the tailgate off. And moving on to the door, we have the latch to get in and out, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get our giant infotainment screen. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this. I like the way that it's laid out. I think it's easy to see, it's easy to use, and it's easy to navigate, which are usually some pretty big hurdles that other manufacturers struggle with. However, I don't like the fact that I have to rely on the screen for things like the climate controls and heated seats. I normally prefer physical buttons. Case in point, today I wanted to turn down the AC, and I couldn't for a couple of seconds because the screen was still booting up. So, something that a knob or dial would have fixed. I do have some physical buttons on the left and right for the volume, driver temperature, and then off to the right, tune and passenger temperature, which is nice to see, but again, I don't like the mix of digital and physical. Here's the backup camera, in case you're curious about how that looks. Down below, we have our aux in, USB-A and USB-C. Nice to see a mix here towards the end of this Outback's generation, so any phone from the last 20 years should work. We have our power parking brake up here as well, and the shifter. Shifter's pretty run-of-the-mill, nothing too crazy. We see this in a lot of Subaru products, and it works well, so I don't complain. Then we have our cup holders. So we will do a big freaking bottle test, and the bottle just doesn't sit very happily in this cup holder, so it's just wiggling around. I can't really give it a pass. Would it fly around the car if you take a corner? Maybe not, but it's still not good. And so unfortunately, the Outback for 2025 fails. Then we get a dual opening center console with a little tray up top, a bigger space down below with a 12-volt outlet, and then we'll talk about the seats. The seats have a mix of fabrics on them. They are power and heated as well, which are very nice, and all pretty standard features that I would assume would be on a vehicle like this, so that's definitely nice to see. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2025 Subaru Outback Premium, and a couple of things to note. First of all, knee room, fantastic. I'm 5'11", not a small guy, and I fit really well. Headroom is good too. I have this little bubble. I doubt you could see it on camera, but there's a little bubble where your head goes that actually gives you a little bit of extra space, which is very, very nice. I also get USB-A and USB-C down below, again, mixing that technology, which I really like because I still have a lot of cords that are USB-A. I do have a fold-down center console here with 2 cup holders, but other than that, nothing really crazy to write home about. Let's hop into the very back because there's something cool I want to mention with the tailgate, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so something cool I just learned about today with the Outback is that there's actually this little button right here. I don't know if you can see that on camera. I hope you can. So that is the pin. So you can set it, I'm not totally sure how, but you can set it so a certain number of clicks will unlock the vehicle. And so the reason for that is that you could put your key fob in the car, go hiking, go swimming, go kayaking, canoeing, whitewater rafting, whatever, and you can leave the keys in the car and the car will be locked. But then you come up here, hit your secret Morse code, whatever, and the vehicle will unlock. So you don't have to carry this with you. That is very, very smart. I know Ford did that in the early 2000s. It's not a revolutionary idea, but they really know their target market, who is very active outdoors, and carrying a fob that can't get wet might hinder you. Anyway, moving on, we do have a power tailgate, again, part of that premium trim. And these are the floor mats for whatever first owner will own this vehicle. We won't take these out. However, we do have some handles here to put down the row of seats. We have a 12-volt outlet found right here, and if we come under the floor mat, we have some more storage and items down there. Overall, plenty of space in the back of the Outback. It's what I've always loved about these longer roofline wagon type vehicles. Tons of space. You're going to be able to fit everything you would ever need in here, plus you get this nifty privacy cover back there as well. So power tailgate button right here. Pretty quick. And there we go. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I like the look of the Outback, but it is starting to get old. In 2019 and 2020, this looked great, but it's not 2020 anymore, and so it's 2025 model year. It is starting to get old. I don't think it's an unattractive vehicle, though. I think it still holds up pretty well in terms of its style, but it's just a style that we've seen so much over the last few years that it's most certainly ready for a hopefully more boxy redesign. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Subaru Outback Premium from the 2025 model year? Well, it's great. I've always loved the Outback. I don't think there's a generation of Outback that I've disliked, and they've gotten better as technology has gotten better, although they have gotten bigger, which I know a lot of people don't like. I do want to talk about this car's value, though, here for a second, because at around $34,000 to $35,000, this really starts to compete with vehicles like the Mazda CX-5, Toyota RAV4, and the Honda CR-V. Now, I know those vehicles are slightly shorter and taller, but when you get to that price point, those are kind of industry leaders when it comes to features and price, and this fights it very well. It has that pin, which is very, very cool, we talked about with the tailgate. Speaking of which, it has a power tailgate. It has the heated seats. It has the nice large infotainment display on the inside. And so what this car really reminds me of is that we don't actually want SUVs. We just want big wagons. This feels more spacious than a CX-5, RAV4, or CR-V. It also feels sportier than those vehicles. It feels more driver-oriented than those vehicles. Maybe not the CX-5. I really do love what Mazda has done with the CX-5 in terms of drivability, but definitely more driver-friendly than the CR-V and the RAV4. And you get so much for that price. And so while we talk about price and features and options, this is also goodbye to this generation of Outback. It served us so well. A generation that started with the 3.6 liter flat six and has lived its life up until now, helping people go on adventures and see new things. And so now I just want to toast my glass to the Subaru Outback as a whole, as a model, and what it stood for over the last 2 decades. Thank you, Subaru Outback. I'm sure whatever comes next, you'll do it with the happy grin you've always had. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg for letting me take out their Outback. Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg is absolutely fantastic to work with. We've been working together for 2 or 3 years at this point. Absolutely fantastic. They always have great customer service, awesome vehicles on the lot, and if you're curious, you can browse their inventory in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.